Today, guys, we need to talk about the purple rabbit himself. Yep, I'm talking about Jax. Because let me tell you, the internet is absolutely buzzing, and it feels like something massive is on the horizon for him in episode 5. First off, let's remember how we knew Jax in those first few episodes. He always seemed like the character who laughed at everyone else, keeping a safe, mocking distance. Think back to the first episode.
Stuck here for years. Old Kinger over there's supposedly been here the longest.
Oh, did someone say something about an insect collection?
That's why he's crazy.
Pomni is spiraling, trapped in her own fears, crying out, "Take it off! Where am I?" And Jax, he watched with no small amount of regret. Was that genuine emotion or just a fleeting reaction before the sarcasm kicked back in? And then there was that moment when he constantly teased Gangle, tormenting her with breaking her masks as she tried desperately to cope with her fear of abstraction. But what if, just what if, there's something so much more behind his behavior? Something deep, something painful, something he's desperately trying to hide? Think about it. He never tells us anything about himself. He deflects every attempt at sincerity with a joke or an insult. From the first episode, Jax comes across as this mocking, sarcastic character. He never misses a chance to poke fun, to put down, to generally be a menace to the other circus members. And yes, his complete lack of obvious empathy for others' problems is alarming. When Pomni was consumed by her fears, he seemed, on the surface, to just watch from the sidelines, or actively make it worse like in E3.
I hope this adventure doesn't end up being another horrible nightmare. I'm not really a fan of horror, and I don't really handle jump scares that well.
Come on, that wasn't even scary. What? You scared of the vacuum cleaner too?
Hey, be nice to her. She's had a rough couple of days.
But perhaps behind that mocking nature, behind that cynicism, there really is much more. Is Jax's behavior simply a mask he wears, or is it a twisted reflection of his true, damaged essence? Now let's think about what we already know about the circus itself. Like all the characters, Jax ended up here with no explanation. They each have their own oddities, their own struggles that are revealed as the plot progresses. Pomni grapples with fragmented memories of her past. Gangle suffers from a constant, debilitating fear of becoming an abstraction. Kinger is slowly, tragically losing his grip on reality, descending further into eccentricity. But Jax, he's the only one who holds himself with such apparent confidence, such an air of being untouchable, that it raises serious questions. Perhaps the reason is that he's hiding something very, very important. Something about himself, or something about the circus itself. This brings us to the theories circulating in the fandom, fueled by these little hints and the massive shift in E4. Theory 1, the protective mask. This is a big one. Perhaps Jax is acting out, being cruel and sarcastic, precisely so that no one suspects how vulnerable he truly is. Sarcasm and coldness could be his way of creating a barrier, protecting himself from pain. If he is the first to mock someone, if he projects an image of not caring, then no one can hurt him. No one can expose whatever raw nerve lies beneath. It's a defense mechanism, albeit an incredibly annoying one. Theory 2, he knows more than he's saying. This is the one that really gets the hype going for E5. Some viewers speculate that Jax may remember more about his past life than other characters. He might even know how the circus works, why they're there, or even something crucial about Kane or the true nature of this digital realm. This knowledge could be horrific, explaining why he keeps his distance and acts like nothing matters. A nihilistic response to a terrible truth. His sarcasm may not only be a mask, but also a result of realizing that what's going on is far scarier, far more hopeless than anyone else fully grasps. What do we know about the circus itself that might support these theories? The digital circus is a mysterious, often terrifying place where each character is trying desperately to adapt to a new, incomprehensible reality. We've seen characters face their own fears, their own oddities, and the constant, looming threat of abstraction, the horrifying digital breakdown where they lose themselves completely. However, it's still unclear why exactly these specific characters ended up in the circus and how their past lives are connected to this trap. Pomni had those terrifying glimpses, hints of a former life, moments when she remembered herself in other circumstances. Gangle, too, despite her ribbon form, shows deep emotions and fears indicating her inner turmoil. But Jax, he's the only one who reveals almost nothing about himself, about his past. What if that's not a coincidence? Jax's connection to the circus. This is where Theory 2 gets even deeper. Some fans speculate that Jax may have been one of the very first inhabitants of the circus. If that's the case, he's been through a lot of things that others haven't even begun to realize are possible. He may have witnessed the abstraction of other characters firsthand, perhaps multiple times. Remember that chilling moment in episode 2 where Ragatha talks about having a little funeral service to remember the people who abstract?
Got everything ready. Hey, you at least want to join us for Kaufmo's funeral? We like to have a little funeral.
Jax was right there. What if he's seen those funerals, seen friends vanish, seen the process? That would leave an indelible imprint on anyone and could explain his detachment like a way of coping with inevitable loss. He will tell his story. The hope, the hype for episode 5 and 6 is that the creators may finally use flashbacks or monologues to reveal who Jax was before the circus. It could be a story of profound loss, deep-seated fears, or intense struggles with himself or others. Let's think about some specific theories about Jax's past. that tie into this idea of a hidden secret. He was a leader. Some fans speculate that in his past life, Jax held a position of responsibility, perhaps leading a team or being a mentor figure. His sarcasm and controlling nature in the circus could stem from guilt over mistakes he made in that leadership role, like mistakes that might have led to someone else's harm or disappearance, maybe even abstracting. He has lost someone close to him. This theory strongly aligns with the idea of him witnessing abstraction. Another theory says that Jax lost someone incredibly important to him, perhaps to abstraction within the circus itself, or maybe something happened in his past life that feels analogous to abstraction. If this is true, his detachment, his coldness, his refusal to get close to anyone is due to an overwhelming fear of experiencing that pain of loss again. He pushes everyone away before they can be taken from him. He knows how to get out. This is perhaps the most exciting theory. There's speculation that Jax is keeping a secret that might actually help the group get out of the circus. Perhaps he found a way or knows a crucial piece of information, but believes that others are better off not knowing the truth.
Huh. Maybe he's not in his room? I hope he's all right.
Don't worry, Dollface. I've got a key to his room.
Wait, why? You shouldn't have keys to anyone's room.
Nah, I've got keys everywhere, and you've all been fine. By the way, I may have left something in your room today, so let me know if you find it. You're not afraid of centipedes, are you?
Jax! That's literally my only fear. Why would you do this?
What? It could be a completely unrelated question. You'll never know until it's too late.
Maybe the path out is dangerous, or the truth is too horrific, and he's trying to protect them in his own messed up way by keeping them in the dark. What scenes could Episode 5 use to perfectly reveal something about Jax? Since Episode 5 is focusing on him and Ragatha, their interactions are key. There could be a scene where Jax and Ragatha are together in the regatta setting, maybe a place that triggers a memory for Jax. He suddenly finds himself in a room, a street corner, an object that reminds him powerfully of something from his life before the circus. It could be something simple, like seeing a specific type of mirror, as happened with Pomni's memory fragments, or something deeply personal related to his childhood, or a significant event. Another incredibly powerful option tying into the lost someone theory and the seen this before idea would be if he himself witnesses one of his friends begin to turn into an abstraction. Given Gangle's constant fear and her near breakdown moments, she seems like a prime candidate for this. If Jax saw Gangle showing the signs of abstracting, his reaction could be the key.
How long has this shift really gone on for? 6 hours? 8? 24? A week? A year? Does time even move in here? Will we ever go home? Will we ever achieve our dreams? Oh, wait.
He might drop the mask completely, showing genuine terror or grief. He might even say something chillingly revealing like, "Oh no, I've seen this before, I know how this ends." That would be the perfect way to hint at his past experiences and the trauma they've caused him. So if we put it all together, it turns out that Jax may not be the simple, insensitive jerk he appears to be on the surface. His cynicism, his sarcasm, his cruelty, they could all be a carefully constructed mask behind which hides profound fear, deep-seated guilt, and possibly the trauma of loss. Imagine if, in Episode 5, in a moment of vulnerability brought on by the events of the episode or an interaction with Ragatha, Jax actually said something that hinted at regret. Something like, "If I could change anything, I wouldn't have made the same mistakes." Or, "You think this is bad? I know what real loss looks like." It would completely reveal a new, tragic side of his character, setting the stage for the storm in Episode 6. This is why Episode 5 is so hyped. What do you think Jax is hiding? Why does he behave the way he does? Is he a traumatized victim, a guilt-ridden former leader, or something even darker? Write your guesses, your theories, your wildest speculations in the comments below.